So could you talk about some ways that SLPs can collaborate on goals with behavior analysts or other disciplines too?
Okay. So, when it comes to collaborating between the two professionals, I think it's important, as you stated prior, that we have the child's best interest at heart and at mind. So, therefore, when it is time to write goals, whether there is a reevaluation or a initial evaluation for that child, the BCBA and the SLP should definitely be sitting at the same table for sure. We need to be looking at our results together, discussing some findings and differences between the assessments that we've given or facilitated. We both know as SLPs and as BCBAs that we address language, social skills, communication, daily living skills, sometimes feeding. So, with that intertwinement, I think it's important that uh, the different attitudes and the different egos are set aside so we can look at providing a language rich and behavioral rich environment for a child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like the way that you said that. There are things that we can learn from speech therapists about where to start on teaching a particular target, like WH questions. And there are other ways that also speech therapists can learn from us about how to manage some challenging behaviors.
Yes, some aggression, some self injurious behaviors, things like that. We're not necessarily equipped with skills on how to address those behavioral concerns.
Hmm. I remember sitting in some speech sessions at a school that I had a client at, and it was really cool to see the speech therapist communicating with an AAC device.
Yes.
Could you explain for our listeners just briefly what an AAC device is?
Okay. So an AAC device is going to be an augmentative and alternative communication device. These are usually used for individuals who are pre-language, also pre-linguistic, or also nonverbal. We use those terms interchangeably. However, nonverbal just seems infinite, like that learner, that student will never be able to speak. But I like to use more positive framing of the words. So AAC devices fall under the larger umbrella, which is assistive technology. And assistive technology is broader. However, it encompasses a wheelchair, eyeglasses, anything that a person can use to help better their quality of life. So, an AAC device, again, which is under that umbrella, is simply a tool that you would use to make sure that those basic needs are communicated. Okay, so usually pictures, and the learner would tap, press that picture, and it will say something. It will help explain or convey their need, their want, their desire.
Yeah, and this is so important to give them a voice.
Absolutely.
I've been in predicaments, I guess you could say, where we were wondering, should we teach this child sign language or should we go to an AAC device?
Mm,
Ultimately it's up to the parents, but
it is. You're
sorry,
right.
yeah, it's ultimately up to the parents, but we also have to think about the general public and who they would be communicating with. And not a lot of people know sign language, but people can hear a voice that's coming out of a tablet, for example.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely a sticky topic, because I do recall working with some parents who were really big allies and beneficiaries of the deaf culture and the deaf community. And they wanted their child to use sign language, you know.
Mhm.
So regardless if it's commonly used or not, you can't step on the parents' toes. We hope that they know what's best.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Let's talk about your book that was published last year.
Awesome.
It's titled Technical Difficulties Why dyslexic narratives matter in tech?
Yes. So I wrote technical difficulties to empower those with speech and language disorders to pursue careers in tech. And I think that this book is such groundbreaking work. Not only is it a culmination of some of the work that I've done overseas, kind of speaking with people with dyslexia or conversing with people who had experiences and stories about dyslexia, but it's really an inspiratory guide and a love letter to those people with different abilities, whether it is ADHD, whether it is autism spectrum disorder, whether it is dyslexia. I want um, these individuals to understand that they can create innovative software and technology in the tech industry. I think that the tech industry can be one sided, and there will not be items or tools and things that are beneficial to those who have dyslexia, or who have autism spectrum disorder. So it's important that these individuals are at the table. Okay. I know a lot of people have been discussing ableism and how, people who do not have disabilities should not be at these tables having these dialogues about those with these specific needs and disabilities. So I wrote this book to really kind of push that envelope and let individuals know, if you have something special to bring to the table, you are welcome to do so. And I want to empower you and inspire you to get to that table, because our world needs the difference that you will bring to the world, you know?
Yeah, I read a little excerpt from the book, and it was describing, I don't know if it's a little girl or little boy, but they're describing a scene in a doctor's office and
Mhm.
kind of holding their parent's hand. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So I have 5 chapters throughout the book. Five is kind of my lucky number. And not only that, but I wanted to keep this book very, for lack of better phrases, short and sweet. I
Mhm.
wanted to get to the point like, hey, you have something amazing to bring and to fulfill. And we need it, so to speak. So in the first chapter, I talk about a little girl, and it's really the way I frame it. You're there with her. You can kind of feel what she's feeling, her anxiety. You see what she's seeing all around her. You hear what's happening. She has just gotten her dyslexia diagnosis, and she's been assessed by some professionals, some medical professionals, and they just told her mom, hey, we want you to have a seat back out here so we can provide you some further information or some next steps. So the little girl is with her mom. She feels her mom's energy. She knows that something is off. And her mom begins to cry. And this girl, and it's funny that I think that children are so connected to their parents, and maybe just the society as a whole. Children can really pick up when things are not right. So this little girl is picking up that something is going on, something is wrong. These tests that she's taken with her mom have, they've revealed this big secret, this big gnawing detail about her that she wasn't even sure of about herself. So that's kind of where we start, and then I dive into the story about just dyslexia as a whole and its origin, and the founding individuals who kind of spearheaded different initiatives for dyslexia advocacy and awareness. Yeah.
You've been watching Autism Knows No Borders. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also, we'd love to hear from you, so let us know what you think in the comments section. Click here to watch this interview in its entirety. You can also find us on your favorite podcast app. Tune in each week for engaging conversations of how people across the globe are inspiring change and building community. Thanks for watching. Take care.